The movie Avengers EndGame has outdone the movie by James Cameron, Titanic. That's not deserved in my opinion, and I'm going to tell you why, so let's just get this video started. Everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and if you are new to my channel, my name is Julie and you are really welcome to be here. Now I'm going to be talking about a tweet that James Cameron posted on Twitter today, the 9th of May, and it's basically about the Avengers EndGame movie, surpassing the movie Titanic. And I actually don't think that Avengers EndGame is a better movie than Titanic. I mean, it's just not. Why? But I thought that the photo was absolutely hilarious. I have it in front of me because I don't want to be misquoting anything, and I want to read it exactly what James Cameron actually posted. It is a photograph of the Titanic and the logo of Avengers, and it being sank by, Avengers EndGame, obviously, right? And I think it's absolutely classic what James Cameron wrote, because, he's not really congratulating them, he's condescending them, but you know what, he's more than within his right. I'm going to read out first what he said, and then we'll talk about it. To Kevin and everybody at Marvel, so he's talking about Kevin Feige. An iceberg sank the real Titanic. This is brilliant. It took the Avengers to sink my Titanic, right? My Titanic. Everyone here at Lightstorm Entertainment salutes your amazing achievement. You've shown that the movie industry is not only alive and well, it's bigger than ever. And then he's put at the bottom, Jim Cameron. Now the reason I find that absolutely classic, and he's more within his right, is because, well, the movie Titanic is based on a real historical event. This was a very traumatic experience and something that had happened that affected so many people, and it would have been a horrifying experience, right? Of course we know that, right? And he took his take on the movie of how this event took place, right? And the thing about it is that movie was a standalone movie because it was based on an event that happened. But Avengers EndGame is a movie that was being led up since, Iron Man back in 2008. So think of the huge gap we have there, 2008 to now. This movie wasn't just a movie that was released EndGame. There's a reason for it being called EndGame. This movie was a massive, massive build-up, and that's the reason why it was one of the most hyped movies of all time, because everybody had been watching these MCU movies back from Iron Man in 2008. Whereas that was a movie of its own, right? Titanic. You have to say to yourself, there wasn't movies for 10, 11 years before Titanic, and then Titanic was released and there was this big massive hype. So you can't use it as a comparison. And to me, I find it strange the way people are actually talking about this online, like that it's a fair comparison. It's not a fair comparison, guys, because if you think about it, you've got true event, which is Titanic, right? It actually happened. Then you have Avengers EndGame. It's called the Marvel Cinematic Universe for a reason, because it's in a universe that we all, yes, okay, it's make-believe and it's awesome to watch because it takes you somewhere else for a while out of, the world that we live in. And it's great to sort of get away from it all and watch all these awesome characters, watch Hulk, watch Thor, Captain America, Gamora, Nebula, Thanos, all these awesome characters, Loki. But the thing is, they're obviously not real. They're based on comic book characters, right? And, to me, it's almost like comparing, Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, for example, with the movie Frozen. It's two completely different things we're talking about, two different, comparisons. And if you think about it, it's kind of also as well, say let's talk about Game of Thrones. And really, sorry, before I go off on that tangent, guys, if you think about it, right, the game was played, right, let's look at this as a game, right? The game that was played by Marvel was, they have been in the game from 2008 on these MCU movies, led right up to EndGame. So the one on the merit of, they didn't win on their own merit, the one on the merit that it had been leading up to that movie, and everybody wanted to see it to see what the outcome was since 2008. It was leading up to that. Everything was leading up to that, right? But then you've also got Captain Marvel, right? The movie that I have not watched nor will watch. Now, I still don't believe that movie made the money that it made. I'm sorry, I really do not. I'm sorry. Because I have not yet to meet anybody that actually liked that movie. So a movie that made what Captain Marvel made, you would expect to meet at least a few handful of people that actually enjoyed the movie. Everybody's coming to my videos and saying they didn't like it. Everybody I've spoke to is coming and saying they didn't like it. So if you think about it, right, her movie, if they say so that it did that well, right, did well, not on its own merit, 100% not on its own merit, right? It was because everybody knew that her movie was out just 4 weeks before EndGame, and they wanted to go and see it to see the link between the two. Let's face it. Some people did want to genuinely go and see it, but she did not make that money on that movie from her own freaking merit. And neither did Avengers EndGame. It's not like this was a movie that was released and then surpassed Titanic. It didn't happen like that. That's not how the world works. What happened was Titanic was on its own, you know. It made the money it made because it was emotional, it was very moving. People were like, wow, that's amazing that he made this wonderful movie out of a massive historical event, right? Then you've got Avengers EndGame, based on characters that do not exist. Yes, it's moving, yes, it's emotional, you know, yes, you know, we have followed these characters throughout these movies and we, you know, like feel sorry for certain characters. We have a huge investment in these characters. But we know, coming into the cinema and saying to ourselves, you know, as sad as that was, as emotional as that was, it isn't actually real, obviously, right? Whereas Titanic, it's moving because it was real. So, going on to the Game of Thrones, it's like trying to compare the Game of Thrones, right? You watch from season 1 and you get to season 8. Don't be putting any spoilers below, guys, because I'm only at the end of season 7. I'm going to be watching season 8 probably in the next couple of days. But anyways, you're watching from season 1 to season 8, and when it comes to the end of season 8, it's a build-up because you've been watching from season freaking 1 all them years that Game of Thrones has been out, right? Game of Thrones, right? So, that's like comparing that, me saying, okay, let's compare one episode from the TV show Friends. Forget the rest of Friends, we're talking about one episode, say a Halloween episode, right? I'm going to compare that to the whole entire 8 seasons of Game of Thrones. That doesn't make any sense. You cannot do that. You cannot compare. I just don't get it, I'm sorry. And you know what? Avengers EndGame, as much as I liked it, it had too many problems. It had too many flaws, too many issues. They were mucking around with too many different characters. They destroyed the Hulk. They destroyed Thor. Say whatever you want. And also, does Titanic have modern day politics splashed all over it? No. Are they shoving, you know, characters down your throat and like purposely, you know, putting things and doing nonsense? You just know what I mean by this. Nonsense. No. Goodness forbid if Titanic was made nowadays. Instead of it being, you know, a female and a male having a love interest in a love story, it wouldn't be. Jack would be a woman, you know, most likely in the story Titanic. So, you know, and as well, let's talk about CGI, right? Yes, obviously there was CGI in Titanic, right? But let's look at the scale between Titanic and Avengers EndGame. So much CGI was in Avengers EndGame, but I'm not complaining. I'm saying like Marvel does it right. I've always said this. Marvel does CGI and they do it right. And they do comedy and they do it right. But the problem was they messed up so many things in EndGame. And people are saying that, oh, it's 10 out of 10. It's the best movie ever. It's flawless. You know, can't be touched. But that is because it has been leading up, I will say it time and time again, from 2000 and freaking well 8 from Iron Man. So, what I want to say is I think that this is classic of James Cameron. I'm going to finish up, guys. James Cameron is pretty much saying, it took you all them years to surpass my movie. My movie was on its own merit and it was based on traumatic real life freaking event, right? And see if it had been me, you know what, James Cameron? Fair play to you for being so nice about it. I would have went a step further than that. I would have put up a big picture of all of the characters from the MCU movies. Thanos, Gamora, Nebula, everyone, right? And then I would have had the Titanic beside it, but I would have had like the picture of all the characters like looking really, really small, like extremely small, like all like squashed in together. And then I would have put, congratulations, congratulations, it took you many, many years, but you finally got there. Congratulations, do you know what I mean? Because he put the picture there for a reason, guys. If I wanted to congratulate somebody, you know what, guys, it's just like this. I have over 5,000 subscribers, right? Now, say for example, I had somebody on YouTube that was a friend of mine, or just a YouTuber that I watched, right? Even if they didn't even watch me, right? And say for example, they like flew ahead of me and they got like 20,000 subscribers or something like that, right? Now, no matter what the reason of how they got there, I would say to them, congratulations on your 20,000 subscribers. I'm not going to put up a big picture on Twitter, guys, and put on the photograph, you know, images of how they got their subscribers and say, oh, it only took you to do a YouTube video about this and talk about this to get there. Because that sounds ignorant, arrogant, condescending, you know, but you know what? Congratulations, James Cameron. You are a freaking classic golden legend for doing that. Because you know what? No. There's so many other movies that are better than Avengers EndGame. Titanic, your movie is one of them. Absolutely, 100%. Other movies that is better than Avengers EndGame: Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Matrix, Terminator, you know, the list could go on and on. You know, there's so many other better movies. The Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope. There's so many other movies that is better than Avengers Endgame. So you have to understand, if you're going to do a comparison, do a proper comparison. Like compare Frozen to Toy Story. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't sort of compare, you know, The Empire Strikes Back to Toy Story 3. Because why would you? One's an animation and one's a movie. For starters, you know, for starters. So yes, guys, no, I don't think it deserved to surpass Titanic. You know, I'm not saying, you know, who cares at the end of the day, right? But what I'm trying to say is, if someone said to me, do you think it deserved to surpass Titanic? I would say no, it really didn't. But what I mean by who cares at the end of the day, guys, is there's nothing I can do about it. It has surpassed it, right? So what can I do, right? It has sank the Titanic quite literally, right? But did it deserve it? I don't think so. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it has happened. And there you go. I don't think Captain Marvel deserved to get what it got, and I haven't even seen the movie, but I don't need to see the movie to know that. Because I have heard what happened in Captain Marvel, and it is ridiculous. It's just dopey. It doesn't work. But you know what? You know, just because a movie makes a certain amount of money doesn't mean to say that it's flawless. You know what I mean? Look at The Last Jedi, for example. Look at the money it made, and it was atrocious in more ways than one. But don't even need to get into that, right? But just because a movie makes a certain amount of money doesn't mean to say that it's perfect. And always remember that, guys, right? So I'm just going to leave on the note that Titanic is a better movie than Avengers Endgame. There's no two ways about it. You know, and fair enough, if you're going to say, oh, but Titanic was born to me, and yada, 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 yada. Let's be a bit fair and base it around what it's based on, right? Go back and rewatch Titanic, and then go and watch Avengers Endgame, and think about the fact that, you know, it was from 2008 leading up to it, and then say to yourself, is that fair to compare? I don't think so, guys. I really don't. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I think it's funny that people are debating this online, like saying like, oh yeah, it should have passed Titanic. It's way better than Titanic. Go and find a better comparison, please. Seriously, like compare it to Wonder Woman or something like that if you want, because at least you could say, well, okay, fair enough. It's a superhero movie, Justice League, you know? Just go and find at least a half decent better comparison and then come back to me, right? Anyways, I'll see you all in my next video, but until then, don't forget that the Force will be with you always. Bye, guys.